should
now?
be. Yeah. I'm gonna play a song when you introduce me.
What?
Are we live? Let's go, Commish.
Hang on a second. I'm trying to see, man. This damn thing's driving me crazy.
It says it's recording. You want me to do it?
How you know it's recording? I'm on my
Your screen
YouTube and
will
I don't see it.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think it's like ready yet. It's got my old video on it. I just did. I cut it.
Oh no, if your YouTube will be behind, it'll
Huh?
there you go. Your YouTube will be like lagging behind. Did your screen
Sure.
change into like that one mode?
Alright, we're gonna be starting. I already got a song for you, so don't say anything.
No, I want my own song.
That's enough of that. Alright, Cole. We're here for your weekly high-earning interview. You got the highest score, so you get your interview. I'm going to try to bring this back, and hopefully I can get everyone to chat with me on here so people can actually listen to all the smack talk instead of me just writing it down. Because all that stuff was 100% true last year that everyone said. So yeah, if you don't have a PlayStation, then we'll figure something out, but hopefully they do. Cole, can you hear me?
Yeah, man, I'm here.
Alright, so, my first question I'll start off with is, how do you feel? I mean, you were pretty much bottom of the barrel last year. You barely missed the playoffs, but honestly, last three in, you, Dalton, Michael, pretty bad compared to everyone else. So, I mean, how do you feel starting out the season hot? And even after the Thursday night game, it looks like you're going to get another win, maybe even another high score.
Whoa, don't be jinxing me now. Let's talk about week one. That's why we're here. Let's talk about the business we're attending to. First overall pick, number one, I got it. I was happy about it. It wasn't like over ecstatic because I wasn't sure how that's gonna play out. Turns out Barkley was at that time I had already blown William out of the water. I didn't even need him. Number one overall pick was irrelevant. Won by 20 something, 23 points. He put up like 18. Didn't need him. That's how good my team is this year, Omar. My bench is good. My lineup's good.
I will say that to have a first pick, you did pretty well for your team. And I'm gonna have to be I'm gonna have to be 100% honest with you. You can ask probably 3 or 4 people in the league. I won't say who, but I said your team was probably the worst team, in my opinion. When I saw the drafted team, I wasn't expecting much. Sammy Watkins, Chris Godwin. I don't even know who your other receiver is, but
Calvin Ridley, man, give him some respect.
Calvin Ridley, and but they showed out, and I ate my words because I was actually last place and lowest score.
Omar, you got beat by like 47 points. That's not good, man. That's not a good representation of our league as our manager.
All right, this is my interview. I asked the questions around here. I start. Anyway, so you feel pretty confident. I mean, who are you facing this week? Week 2?
I got the defending champion, Tyrone Jackson. It's going to be a tough matchup, but like you said, after seeing the Thursday night game, having Chris Godwin do pretty well, I'm excited to see Sunday.
Before the Chris Godwin appearance, before the 25, 26 points that you got, what did you think going into this week? Did you think you had a chance?
Based on projections, yeah, I definitely had a chance. I was up by 8 without anyone playing. Godwin went off, more than doubled his projections. That sets me up pretty well. It gets me a comfortable spot on the 1 o'clock games on Sunday. But as you know, anything can happen. Anyone can go off at any time. So, you're never too comfortable, but it's nice to see that on Thursday night. Get a good jump start to the week.
I mean, are you pretty excited about this game? Because I mean, you did change Ty's name. I don't know if many people know that, but you changed Ty's name to Felipe for Heisman.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a Miami fan. We made a bet. We made a deal. He stuck to his word. He's good like that. So I get it for 2 more weeks. We'll see how this week goes. I may leave it like this for another week, and if I squeeze past the defending champion, we may see a new name for week 3.
So, I mean, are you taking this game like personal because he's a bet man with you, or you're just taking it as a friendly bet, a friendly competition?
I wasn't going to. No, I wasn't going to. It was going to be respectful. You're playing the champ, man. You come in the champ, you got to expect the best. But he disrespected me. I sent him a trade. It was fair as could be. It may have even been in his favor. He shut me down. He screenshotted it, posted it on the league. I mean, it was a slap in the face. If you don't want help, if you don't want my hand out to you, because that's what it was. It was me helping his team. He didn't want it. Slapped me in the face. So now it's personal. Yeah, I would say so.
So with it being personal now, I mean, is there anything you want to let Tyrone Jackson know? As he's probably listening.
I haven't talked to the man, and I don't know if I will until the week's over. I don't know. I have nothing to say to him right now.
All right. That's enough of Ty for now. Actually, there's one more thing about Ty I'd like to ask. What do you think the inning projection for this week will be? I'm not sure what the projection is now. I think you're projected to win by 20 right now. But what is your projected score? Not your projected how much you're gonna win by. The projected score.
Score like both of our scores.
Yeah, so like 150 to 130. What do you got?
So last week I was like 165. I don't think I'll reach that again. I would love to see the 150s, but I would be really happy with a mid 140 range. I can see his team. They're not terrible. I can see him getting mid 130s. Maybe me winning by 10. I'll call it by 12. I'm winning by 12.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say Ty's team is actually pretty decent this year. No one noticed what Ty did this last week, but I did. I don't know if you noticed Ty's score last week. It wasn't the highest. I don't know if it was top 3 or not. But he started every right person. He did not start Stephon Diggs. I don't know anyone in this league who wouldn't have started Stephon Diggs week 1.
Yeah, I didn't notice that.
So
everyone there this week though.
Yeah, there was no one on his bench that outscored anyone that he started, and I think that's a real testament to Ty's management of his team. And he's honestly came a long way. He's the champ. He beat me, and I think you're in a tough matchup. I wouldn't be too confident in these projections so far.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I think Ty might be a little scared of me. I'll tell you why. This man went on the waiver wire and spent $50+. He's made more moves since his $20 defensive pickup, which he can't even use against me because he already played the Panthers D, and a $30 pickup on Marquise Brown.
That's funny. He didn't even use him. He bid it high because he heard I was bidding on him, and then he didn't even use him. So
he's reckless with his money. It's gonna bite him in the end. He better start Marquise Brown against me because he spent $30 on the man. So
he might
be benching Diggs again.
He's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna start Marquise Brown. I don't think he's confident. I think he's a little nervous, and if he does, I mean, more power to him. More power to you because you're probably winning the game.
Meet, so we'll see.
All right, now I want to ask you another question. You were one of the guys who are when I started inviting all these new people. You were one of the guys that wasn't too sure about. You're cool with having new people, but you wasn't too sure. You were kind of in the middle, I feel like. As after 1 year with these guys, Seth, Nathan, also having a new guy come into the league who's one of your close friends, William, how do you feel about the new guys now?
Yeah, I'm definitely not one of the guys that had a major problem with them, especially with me bringing William in, with people not knowing who he is. I can't say much. I met Nathan at Piano Bar, so I mean he's a cool guy.
So Nathan is a real guy. So Nathan's real. This isn't Omar 2.0. Is what you're saying?
Well, you gave me $20 to say this, but whatever.
Yeah, sure.
So I've met 2 out of the 3 new guys. And I think one of them might be selling a boat, so we might have to make a deal with that in this league somehow.
He's selling Nathan's selling a boat. That's right.
Nathan's selling a boat. So we'll see what happens. I might make a little fantasy bet with him and give me a free boat out of it. So you never know. It might be nice to have these guys around.
Speaking of Nathan, I mean, I know he's not really the topic of this week, but I was just at his house not too long ago, and his wife brought up the fact that you called him out, about his fantasy football skill.
Dude, I don't take fantasy light. you want to be my friend on Facebook, but you want to be against me in a fantasy league, that's going to take priority. And I'm going to take my shots where I can get them. And I saw an opportunity, and I took it.
Hey, it was a clean shot. You didn't disrespect him in any way, but you did challenge his manhood in fantasy, so...
Absolutely.
And not only did you challenge his manhood, his wife even agreed, which is in his own self a big deal.
Yeah, for sure.
Now let's go ahead and go to the next point. You said that being friends on Facebook, I deal with you, whatever. Someone who's had to deal with you a lot lately, especially the past couple of years, probably since you've been in the league, is me.
Yeah.
You know, you're pretty much what they would call a rebel. You rebel against anything I say. I don't even know if you're totally against everything I say, but you want your voice for the people is what you are. And I wouldn't say even my voice is negative, but you'll find some way to make it that way, and you want everyone else to be heard. And I can appreciate that, but at times it can get pretty sketchy, and there's some arguments, there's some fighting going on. But anyway, so what's behind all that?
I just like a clean, fair league. I like things to be done, you know, the right way. And if I'm gonna be a part of it, and if my money's gonna be on the line, I want it done the right way. And I think voting is a fair, equal opportunity thing for us. I don't think it should be a true dictatorship. It's nice to have a commissioner to set the tone and to lay the groundwork. But big decisions, I think, should be group decisions, and they should have votes put to them. And that's what happened. And it didn't go your way. And if you're salty about it, I'm sorry, but I think
I didn't say anything about anything. I just was asking. You know, it wasn't just one occasion; it's multiple occasions, and I mean, whatever. Leaks fine with me.
I'm not denying it.
Still.
I take being the voice of the people as a compliment, so I appreciate that.
If it was so annoying, I would probably just hand over rights to Ty or Dustin, and the league would just fall apart. But I've had this league for a while. I'm not letting that happen.
I didn't say I wouldn't vote for you.
But I mean, now speaking of voting, what do you think needs to be voted on? What doesn't need to be voted on? There's a lot of people that won't vote on the trades that go through. I've actually pushed a few trades through already because no one's voted on them, and they've been pretty even to me. I mean, what do you think there should be votes on trades? Do you think there should be votes on rules? Voting on everything? What should be voted on?
The big stuff for sure. The trades, the ones that I've seen so far have all been pretty clean, and you push them through pretty quick. There's not really been an opportunity to vote. I just see a trade and then all of a sudden it's upheld, but nothing worth arguing about. They all seem pretty fair. No one's getting no collusion involved that I've seen to this point. It's the late seasons. Last year we didn't have a trade deadline, and there was a lot of drama going into the playoffs. There's even a video posted with an apology. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. So I would like to see a trade deadline put in place before playoffs. That way, when people don't make the playoffs, they can't tank. Which I know there's punishments put in place, but that's not gonna stop everyone. So
I mean, I'm pretty sure there was a trade deadline. I just think that he just dropped his players. There should be a no drop.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Yeah, I may have misspoken. Yeah, regardless, like
there was one year that he did trade with Dustin, and I had to disapprove it all. But whatever, yeah. I get your point.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I just want to be fair, man, especially when people's money's on the line. And it's important to people, man. I take it serious. I hope everyone else does too, because I want it to be a competitive league.
All right, now you say that you take it serious, and I feel like ever since you've been in the league, you take it pretty serious. You watch games, you draft, you're active on the waiver, you're active in discussions. Being a married man now and having a son by the name of Dansby, I mean, are you fighting for them even more now, or fighting for your fantasy life even more to get that big $400 prize and weekly earnings, or are you just doing the same thing, just working hard and getting the wins?
Oh, absolutely. There's definitely more motivation now than ever. Dansby's got more plaques on the wall than I do, and I've been around 25 years. I want that belt. I want it proudly put on my mantle above my fireplace, right where he can see it every day. That way he has something to look up to.
Hey man, that's touching, man. I mean, and those of you that don't know, Dansby is a chocolate lab, probably about 6 months old, 5 months old, probably already 150 pounds. But I mean, does your wife give you any advice when it comes to fantasy football? Whether it's lineups, whether it's, babe, calm down, or it's, no, you can't watch football today. I mean, is there any of that? Because I know the marriage life is a lot more taxing than the just dating.
Yeah, so we actually have a really good setup right now. She's on nights, I'm on days, so she's able to peep the waivers at all times. She's on there searching and looking for me and doing injury updates while I'm
Oh,
sleeping.
so you're pretty much saying I should
text.
just invite her as a second owner?
No, absolutely not. But I want the credit. I want all of it to be me. But I will say that she's there. She's looking. She's peeping at all times, and I'm getting those updates. It's like having a little ESPN analyst in my back pocket, and it's nice. It's good to have a team atmosphere here at the house.
I mean, that's real cool. I mean, my girlfriend won't listen to this. I mean, I wish I had something like that. You know, I mean,
I can say that because she's not gonna listen to it either. So.
And at the moment, my rice is burning, so I have to check that real quick.
Yeah, take your time.
All right, I'm good to go. So we briefly spoke about new guys, and you mentioned bringing William in. I mean, what do you think? You know, you introduced William to all of us, so we didn't know him. I just knew him as the bald guy with the beard, the other bearded guy that watched football with us that didn't flake. I mean, what can we expect from William this year? I mean, he's a big Vikings fan, although he picked his bitter rival's receiver in Devontae Adams for Michael Thomas when I was just waiting for Devontae Adams to fall in my hands, and it didn't happen. But that's another point for another debate from William.
So William's a tough competitor. He told me that this win that I got from him was a birthday gift because my birthday was this past Monday. So he said he only going to put 140 on me. I got to do better than that if I want to win. He stuck true to his word. He put up 142. And he took the loss like a man. So he's going to be here the rest of the season. He's going to compete. One thing that might hold him back is he's got a job that works weekends. So he might not be able to make those last minute, those moves, at 12:59. It's going to be tough for him. But I see him being a true competitor, and he may make a good playoff run. Taking the 0-1 start, but what do you expect playing me,
I mean, I guess. But, I mean, so you've had him. You've only played one fantasy football season with him, right, in your league?
Yeah, he was in my league last year.
How did he place last year? I mean, I know that our league is probably kind of the same as that league. I would say as competition wise. I don't know. Maybe I don't know who's more competitive or not. You'd have to tell me that. But how was he in that league?
So the leagues are a little different. We're a little bit smaller league, so that really throws things off. But not gonna lie,
as far as seriousness goes,
seriousness is all there. It's completely competitive. It's just tough it's tough playing in a smaller league because everyone has just monsters on their team all up and down. The smaller the league, the better the numbers are. We had a guy this last week. He put out 186 in this league. And my high score was 165 in your league.
Yeah,
it's just tough. It's tough playing in those little leagues like that, just because of the monsters that every single person has. He didn't make the playoffs, neither did I. But he played good, and he was there every week. He didn't miss a waiver deadline. He didn't miss a starting lineup 5 weeks every time. He's on top of it.
I remember just like what brought me wanting to recruit him was I just remember sitting at your two-bedroom apartment, over on the other side of Archer Road. He's sitting there watching football with us. I still didn't remember his name quite yet, but he was he's just watching football and he's just getting upset about his players doing bad. This guy takes his stuff serious. So when I saw the opportunity to invite somebody, hey, I said, Cole, hey, ask William if he wants to get in, and it's a pretty pricey league, but I think it's worth it and it's a lot of fun, and I think he's going to be a good asset, much like the other two new guys we have. I guess not really new anymore, but I think he'll last longer than a year, unlike my brother and whoever else I kicked. I can't remember.
Yeah, I agree. The one thing I do have to say about one of the new guys, Seth, he came real close to taking me out this week and being the #1 guy. He could be sitting in this chair right now doing this interview. But I went to go look at his team, and look at his bench, man. He has 2 players that went positive. That was it. He had Phillip Rivers at quarterback and Vance McDonald. The rest are zeros and negative. The dude has no bench. He has no depth. That starting lineup put a 160, but is that going to be sustainable?
That's kind of what he had last year. He didn't have a bench. He relied heavily on guys that were supposed to do good, like Josh Gordon and other players, but they just didn't.
Right.
This year, he doesn't talk much to anyone. He's not really active on Facebook. I know that, but trust me, he's coming for a vengeance, and he's in like 7, 8 leagues. I don't know how he does it, but he takes his stuff serious, and he's coming back for vengeance. But I don't know. I agree with what you said. His bench.
7 or 8 leagues, man. I don't know if he's gonna take that serious at all. He's already lost once. What's it to him just to say, well, I'm done with this league? I had 7 others.
I know him personally. I don't think he'd do that, but You know, then that's another point talking about you know, high scoring games. You know, you were one of the ones that was against the half point PPR that could cut that down a little bit. But also another thing that could fix that in smaller leagues is, you know, if say Seth did leave, say somebody did leave, and we had to go to 10 man, would you be opposed to having a 3 wide receiver, 2 flex option? That way, you know, even though scores would be high scoring, it makes sense that it's high scoring.
3 wide receiver, 2 flex. Are you saying kick a kicker and a defense out, or are you?
No, keep a kicker, defense, and you would add a 3rd wide receiver, or you just add a 2nd flex. So just add another player.
Oh, like so, just add a 2nd flex, basically.
Pretty much.
I don't know. That's tough.
Because I've always found that
if we went down to 10 man, I think it would be an option. Staying at 12, it's tough, man. Because the waiver now is just slim pickings. I don't know if you've looked at it. I'm sure you have. It's tough to find a player that isn't a backup or isn't in a 3-headed monsters type running back situation. These receivers, they're all over the place. You don't know if this guy's going to get 10 targets or none. Like, there's so many out there and also so few at the same time. It's tough playing in a 12-man league.
And I think it may be too soon to find those guys. You know, I mean,
that's true.
One thing.
That's why Ty shouldn't have spent all his money.
And you're right. And that's one thing I'll take credit for is I'm pretty good at getting guys off the waivers. End up doing pretty good. So I mean, I know these guys. You either have to get them really early, and you gotta see them when they start producing just a little bit. And once they start producing just a little bit, you gotta snatch them up. I mean, that's what I did with Alvin Kamara. That's what I did with Philip Lindsay. You know, I mean, that's what you just have to do. So maybe Ty made the right call, spending all that money, but I don't think he made the right call on the right guy.
That makes sense. Z, though.
I mean, that's a stupid call. I think he was just nervous because I put in a bid for Darren Waller, and I know he did too, even though he has 2 good tight ends already. And I told him, I was like, I have $75 on Waller, bro. You're not doing it. And he believed me, and I really didn't. I only had $5 on him.
Yeah. No,
but yeah, I ended up putting up the 10 because he told me he bid it on him. But I think he was worth it. But yeah, I mean.
Oh, for sure. He's gonna be a stud. He's already matched his targets from last year already.
And that's the thing I got from you. I mean, you had a Raiders tight end last year, and he went off. Yeah. So I mean, I'm hoping the same can be said for me.
For sure. Good luck to you though, because I picked him up in my other league too, so it's a good pick up for you.
So you
need it though.
I do. Let's get on the topic of you know, what is your projected? Look at the scoreboard this week to pull up the matchups and tell me who you think. Obviously you think you'll get the highest score, but next to you, you go off projections, so that's the base. But what do you think will be who do you think will be the highest score, and also not just highest score, what team will surprise people this week and end up getting an upset possibly? An upset doesn't have to be, you know, say Garrett beats me. I feel like that's an upset, even though my team's kind of trash, you know. But I mean, I have a good history. Garrett has a terrible history, even though he swears up and down. Yeah, I know.
I think to be an upset, it would have to be a projection upset.
Okay, so you're going off projections, you're not going off of history.
Well, the history, it's a whole new team. It's not.
All right, so I mean, look at who do you think could get the highest score that's not you, and who could get an upset this week?
So I'm gonna contradict myself here. I think potentially could be the highest score would be Bush. He's a great running backs, and he's starting 3 of them, and they could all go off.
Bush drafted well. We'll talk about Bush here in a second. But yeah, go ahead.
So Bush has the potential to be the highest scorer, I think, and he still could be up there among the top 3 or 4. But I'm also calling that as the upset. I think Dustin's got a team that is going to surprise a lot of people. If he can get another running back to go along with Eckler, if he can get an RB2, his receivers and Njoku, these guys can lead him. And Watson, this guy has a team, man. He picks up one more running back, or even has Lindsey on the bench. He can plug in Lindsey. I don't know. This guy has a team that can make a run, and he could upset Bush this week.
I mean,
so I know I'm contradicting myself, but.
And I ripped into Dustin, you know. I ripped into Dustin. You know, I thought Dustin had the. I said earlier that your team was the worst to me, but Dustin's was actually the worst to me when I first originally saw it. No running back, drafted Philip Lindsay in the 3rd round. Just wasn't too sure about that. But it ain't my worst because Philip Lindsay didn't do too bad. And Cohen's actually decent too, so who knows? Maybe he'll end up trading for a running back. Maybe those 2 guys will just step it up. I mean, I agree with you. I think he has a chance to get an upset this week, but Brian also has a chance to get a high score. I mean, and let's just continue on with Brian here. Ezekiel Elliott dropped to Brian Bush in the second round with the 7th pick, 4th pick, 5th pick, something like that. He dropped that far. I mean, what does that say? You know, what do you think about that?
So I have no say in this because I was the first pick, and I didn't get to pick again until Zeke was gone.
Right.
I think you guys really let that one go.
Would you have took him?
Absolutely, I would have took him. They were close to a deal when we did our draft. These guys, Zeke's not gonna not play, man. This guy's too good. He knows his worth. He could be like up there, man. He wants his stats. Zeke's gonna play, and he proved that, and he is playing.
That's my biggest regret of the draft.
Congrats to Bush. I mean, he got a good player, and he also got Gurley right there at the same time.
That's my biggest regret is not getting Zeke, man. You know, I mean, I let him pass me twice, and I knew he was going to play. I was telling Brian to take him at 7 because I knew he was going to play.
Yep.
And the guy had 2 years on his contract, and for anyone to not think he's going to play is absurd. And for some reason, I didn't take him. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I don't know. I had the biggest brain fart of all time, but it was absolutely stupid on my part, on all of everybody's part that picked before Brian in the second round. I don't know what anyone was thinking.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But I'm not in that conversation because I got Barkley and I had no choice.
Yeah, you're not in the conversation. But people like Michael, Dustin, me, Ty, you know, we're all in that. So maybe not Ty, I can't remember. But yeah, Ty and William, I mean, we're all in that. So another question I have for you is, not many people know this because not everybody's in the Snapchat group, the Dirty Laundry League. Dalton has said he had a new target this year to talk trash to. That is yet to be revealed. He hasn't said it. He hasn't talked trash to anyone. He's been pretty quiet. You know, he's in Bahrain or whatever, so I mean that's understandable. But who do you think his target is?
I didn't hear him say that, so I don't know how the context around it. It's hard to keep up with you guys in that group chat. Dalton have a target. If it's not Bush, because he said it's a new target, then my only other guess would be Dustin. They seem to have a little beef. That's always little jabs at each other. And Dustin's confident. He's back. He's the madman. He's back. He's here to take all our heads off. And I think Dalton's going to try to silence him. So that's my guess. I could be wrong. Could be me. When you're on top, everyone's coming for you. So
I mean, I don't think it's you. I mean, you have a history of just like Dalton. You know, you've always been steady. 6th to 8th. You know, you got last place once, but you tanked, and that didn't matter. But
no punishment.
You played it smart. So I mean, you've always been 6th to 8. But it just seems like in this league, 6th to 8 is kind of equivalent to 9, 10, 11, and 12.
I don't know about all that.
But I want this league to be consistent, man. I want everybody to be good. I know we're gonna have our Garretts and Michaels. I know it's gonna happen, but I think Garrett drafting with me and Brian and Michael helped him, because I'm not going to lie and say I didn't give him advice, because I mean I kind of did. Michael doesn't listen to anybody, so I didn't even talk to him.
Michael's got the receivers to make a really good push. He just doesn't have the running backs. I don't think Marlon Mack's like there, but he's not always there. And then Mixon, you never know what the Bengals are doing. Do they even play every Sunday? Like, I have no idea what the Bengals. It's tough playing. I don't know. He's got studs, but I don't think they can carry the team. He's gonna need a lot of bare back and body. Mahomes is.
So what do you? I already said my initial reactions after the draft. You having the worst team, Dustin having the worst team. Who, in your mind, when you looked over the teams, whose teams did you not like, and whose team did you really like? Obviously, like Brian's. So I mean.
Yeah, Brian. Just because I feel like in this league, running backs are just key because they're so hard to come by. So Brian has a good team, but looking at Seth's team too, he's kind of all around. You know, he's got Drew Brees, who's just steady as a rock. He's got Le'Veon Bell and Chris Carson. The dude has Antonio Brown. Like, the guy's got running backs, he's got receivers. He just doesn't have a bench. So if his starting lineup comes through every week for him, then great. But those bye weeks are gonna kill him because he doesn't have the plugs. So that could hurt him a little bit, but he's got a great starting lineup. So that's a good one coming out of the draft, just to get a few early wins before the bye weeks kick in. But not gonna lie, I felt pretty confident about my draft. I know you said it was the worst team out there, but I felt good about it.
I wouldn't say it was the worst team in my opinion. I just didn't have a lot of confidence in it because I didn't like Watkins. I didn't like Cotton. I wasn't sure.
No, my receivers are definitely shaky, man. I got Ridley probably as like my best receiver, and he's second best on his team. So it's hard to say I have a great core of receivers because I don't. But these guys are stepping up. Godwin's already proved himself this week, and Watkins last week. So if these guys do that for me every week, week in and week out, if I can make a pickup, I'm gonna be a team to contend. So that's my goal. Stay in contention the whole way and then make a push at the end.
All right. Well, don't dodge the question. What team didn't you like? I mean, let's ruffle some feathers here. I mean, who didn't you like?
Let me run through them real quick.
You don't remember your initial reaction?
I know Ty's team was just kind of iffy, but I think that was just mainly because of his quarterback situation. I thought he was going to be playing Big Ben. He plugged in Lamar Jackson. So good for him. He made a good read there at the end. Like you said, he played all the right guys. But I don't know.
So answer this about Brian. You know, it seems like that everybody, I said this to Brian in a chat with me and Ty, you know, I pretty much gave him a Marine speech. I told him that, you know, stop taking the compliments, stop letting everybody kiss his ass on his team, because this is exactly what happened last year. He had the highest scoring team week after week. He was always at the top. He was winning. He didn't want to trade with anybody. He was so confident. And then what happened? He got third place. He got third place because the curse of James White and the Patriots running backs cost him. I can't remember who else he had. Cam Newton at the end of the season cost him. You know, and I felt like at the beginning here, the first week before the first week started, he was letting people get in his head. You know, and I mean, do you think that he's gonna, you know, Brian personally, we all do. So do you think he's gonna let people get in his head and think his team's the greatest?
So he just made a trade, right? Then he
traded Kyler Murray for Gurley's backup.
Right. I think that's a bad trade.
I actually liked it.
Well, I just feel like he's stacked on running backs. He doesn't need the third or the fourth, really.
That's a good handcuff, though.
Yeah, but Kyler has the potential to be a great quarterback, and he could put up these Lamar Jackson type numbers every week.
Who's Brian's quarterback right now?
Carson Wentz. And he has no backup. He
Hmm.
could have. I mean, he's got Carlos Hyde on his bench, who would have been
That
all
is
right. I think he should
sketchy.
have kept Murray around. And,
Yeah, that's a little sketchy now thinking about it because Carson Wentz has been hurt 2 years in a row and in the season
for
with
sure.
injury. So, I mean, what happens, you know? There's no
I mean,
Nick
there's
Foles.
quarterbacks out there. I mean, there's Jameis Winston and Jacoby Brissett. So if he wants to follow something like that, I just think he should have kept Murray around, especially being a first-year guy. He did well week one, and I think he's only going to grow. So he could have been his QB1, you know, to make his push to the end. But we'll see. Maybe Wentz has his.
I think that Murray thing just. I think the Murray compliments just fall from your passion of college football, which leads to my next question. Have you fallen in love with NFL more than college football? I mean,
Absolutely
you played
not.
fantasy football, so no. That was a quick answer. So absolutely
No.
not.
No, I think.
So you
fantasy
enjoy
was actually
watching college football more than you watch the NFL, not Gator football, college.
Yeah, I do. College football is electric. It's there. The fans are there. They're into it. There's tailgating. Fantasy football has drove me away from being an NFL fan, and I say that in a way of meaning one team. I tried to be a Jags fan. You can't be a fan of any team being in
That's
multiple
true.
fantasy football leagues. You just can't. You're cheering against your own team. You show your cards because when Sammy Watkins scored 48 fantasy points against my Jaguars. You know how happy I was about that? I was ecstatic. You can't be a
There you were.
NFL fan. That's football. That was an easy question.
All right, and let's go on with college football. You said the fans. I mean, that sounded very familiar to what I listened to today with Tim Tebow. Did you hear that speech?
Absolutely. That's exactly where I was coming from. Not to get into the college players getting paid, but Tebow said it best. These fans are just so electric. The stadiums are bigger. They pack them.
I think he made some very good points, to be honest. I mean, I'm happy to have with both, but I think he made some good points. I mean, to make a long story short, I mean, he did get raised in a pretty, rich family kind of situation, so he doesn't really have that poverty thing to fall back on, talk about. But I see his point also. I mean, kids should have to work.
That's a whole different conversation. But
They should be able to get jobs.
Unfair. Yeah, yes, and they shouldn't allow students to get paid in one state and not another. It's going to drive recruiting to those states. It should be across the board.
Oh, that's
NCAA thing, not state thing. But that's college. We're talking about fantasy. So.
All right. Next question I have, Cole, is, let me look at my list here.
Are we going to address your team at all?
I mean, if you want to address my team, this isn't my interview. So, I mean, if you want that to be the next situation, I mean, what did you think of seeing me? I mean, I was sitting right next to you for half of the day watching these games. Most of my team played a little bit later. I also had Montgomery play the Thursday night game. So, I mean, I could kind of see where my team was going the first week. I mean, going into this week, I think I'll make this a topic every week. What people think about my team, because I like attention.
No.
I mean,
it's just because you got last. That's the only reason I wanted to bring it up.
All right, I mean, so seeing a former champ, former second place, former third place, I'm always at the top. I'm always talking trash. I'm confident in myself. I always give everybody advice. I think I know what I'm talking about. I can admit that. What did you think when you saw my 89 points? What looked like to be not even break 80?
So, I wanted to call you a homer. I think you started Jameis Winston because you're reliving 2013.
That's not.
You just can't get out. You can't get out of that year. Jameis Winston's the greatest of all time for you, and you think he's going to carry you to every victory. And every time he snaps the ball, it takes you back to 2013, and they're facing Auburn, and they're making that final drive, and it's just not like that anymore.
I mean, did you see him this week?
7.1 points, man. 7.1 is what he gave you.
Did you see him this week?
Did you start him?
I didn't. He's on the road.
You should have.
But I dropped him. So now I'm not living in the past.
Good for you, man. No, it was a wake-up call for you, and I think you needed it.
That is something I need.
I want to ask you, how does it feel that Brian's defense put up 1 point and they outscored you by 1 point?
What? They outscored my defense by 1 point? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they only put up 1 point and they outscored your defense by 1 point.
I mean, that's just a telltale Omar team. I can never ever have a good defense. That's always been. Except the year I won the championship, I was always rotating with the Eagles and somebody else. I would always pick them up off the waivers, and that worked out. But last year, defensive tight end cost me. This year, defense is looking like it's going to cost me. The year I got third place.
You said it multiple times that you want to get rid of the defense. Is that something you're going to put up to a vote for next year?
I mean, after this season, I'm thinking about it. I've talked to a couple guys. I'm not going to say I talked to every 7 guys until you have 7 votes, but talked to a couple of guys and they kind of agree. I mean, when I say a couple, I mean Brian. But defenses, I feel like, are stupid. The NFL's different now. There's too many.
Yeah.
There's not very many good defenses. You can also say, well, you got to draft a good defense. You got to waste a good pick on them then, which I get that. So I mean, I wouldn't be opposed.
I don't know how much weight a week 1 champion has, but an option that could be is take a defense out and put in an IDP. It'd be cool to follow one player rather than a whole defense.
Like a defensive player?
I mean, it's not an independent defensive player.
I don't think. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think enough guys watch NFL to know that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't know. Yeah,
I mean, the only reason I know all these players is because I play Madden.
Yeah. There's only so many big names though, and there's only 12 of us, and y'all have one on the bench. It's not that big of a pool to pick from.
I mean, would you be opposed? What would you think if a vote came to no defense? I mean, would you be upset? Would you not care?
I honestly don't have an answer right now. It would be something I'd have to think about. I would probably do a little research. I wouldn't just make an impulse decision.
Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm in a league with no defense, no kickers.
Yeah.
I think there's 2 flexes, 3 receivers, and it's pretty awesome. I'm not saying I changed. No, I lost in that league too. But I went 0-4 in all my 4
leagues. Oh my gosh, I'm 3-0.
0-4 and lost 3 FanDuels. Didn't win any money. So terrible week. But yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna change my league to that. I mean, I'm not gonna do that. But I'm just saying, even if I got rid of the defense, doesn't mean I add another player. That's just up to the vote. It just depends on how this year plays out. But I also like the standard, typical fantasy league. I feel like everyone should have one with a defense, a kicker, and 2 receivers, 1 flex, 2 running backs.
Yeah, it gets weird when you start changing things up. It's hard to go back on the glory days and say, I won this championship, and then you're 10 years later and someone's like, well, if we play by the rules we have today, then this and this and this. But it's nice to keep a standard. It's nice to, and that's also probably played into my factor of trying to keep it, as a 1-0 PPR.
It's kind of the point where you don't want to take the fun out of something because it's so serious. You don't want to make something so serious that kind of just takes the fun out of it.
Right. And it is serious though. I mean, it's fun, but it's serious too. This is a once a year thing. This is a true season that you put a lot of time and effort into, and it means a lot to get a victory, and it means a lot to take a loss too.
Well, I have to be honest with you. I mean, I think this year is going to be the toughest year in Dirty Laundry League. I think everyone's got good teams. I think because everyone actually drafted.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people did mock drafts this year. We replaced William we've got a better player in William, I feel like. So I feel like this year is going to be tough, man. And if whoever comes out on top this year, glory to you, because it's going to be tough.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun year. It's going to be a crazy ride. So.
All right, now cast your vote to evict. What'd you say?
It's going to be a fun year. It's going to be a fun ride.
No, I said cast your vote to evict.
To evict who?
I don't know.
Oh, Holly.
All right, Cole. I mean, I think we hit the 30-minute mark now. I didn't even want to go 30. We're at 38 minutes and 50 seconds right now. I didn't want to go this long, so hopefully everyone listens. I mean, any final words? Any final trash talk to Ty? Any final words to anyone in the league? What do you got to say?
No, I'm gonna keep it clean with Ty. He's a master trash talker, man. This guy takes anything you say and he'll spin it back on you. So I'm gonna keep it clean to the final whistle. It feels nice to get a jump start on the defending champion with that Thursday night Godwin player. So we'll see how Sunday rolls around. We'll throw the TVs up, get Sunday ticket going, and kick back, have a beer, and watch my team go back for round 2. And I hope to be sitting in this chair next week doing the same interview.
What are the chances? One last question. What are the chances Brian forgets football's on Sunday?
Brian forgetting football is on Sunday. Oh man, he probably doesn't even know it's gonna he probably doesn't know what day of week it is. So it's not that he forgot it was on a Sunday; it's that he didn't even realize it was Sunday. The man doesn't have a clue. He's not even gonna be able to pay attention to this interview all the way through. So I can talk as much about him as I want. He'll probably fall asleep. Brian, you're a goof, but I love you.
All right, well, that concludes the time here today for a weekly interview. I hope you enjoyed, and whoever I have next week, hopefully I don't have anyone that's me. So y'all have a good night.
Later, boys.